Does criticism send you into an emotional spiral that lasts for days? Do you find yourself replaying critical comments over and over, wondering if there's truth to them, or feeling like your entire sense of self just crumbled from one person's feedback? If someone's critique feels like it's destroying your peace and your self-worth, you're not weak or broken. You're likely a sensitive person who never learned how to filter feedback in a way that protects your heart while still allowing for growth. Today, we're exploring why criticism hits some of us so hard, how to distinguish between constructive feedback and projection, and most importantly, how to build emotional resilience without hardening your beautiful open heart. This is part 6 of our Emotional Sovereignty series. I'm here to help you flow from criticism sensitivity to empowered discernment, staying open to growth while protecting your inner peace. Let's start by understanding why criticism can feel so devastating for sensitive, empathetic people. From a psychology perspective, there are several factors that make feedback feel like an attack on your entire being. Highly sensitive nervous systems process all stimuli more deeply, including emotional and social information. When someone criticizes you, you're not just hearing their words, you're feeling their tone, their energy, their emotions, and sometimes even their unspoken judgments. Perfectionistic tendencies often develop in sensitive people as a way to avoid criticism altogether. When feedback does come, it can feel like evidence that you failed at being good enough to escape critique. People-pleasing patterns make criticism feel especially threatening because it suggests you've disappointed someone, which your nervous system might interpret as a threat to belonging and acceptance. Empathetic absorption means you might unconsciously take on the emotions behind the criticism, their frustration, disappointment, or anger, making it feel even heavier than it actually is. Past experiences with harsh criticism, especially in childhood, can create a trauma response where any feedback triggers your fight or flight system as if you're in actual danger. The fact that criticism affects you deeply doesn't mean you're too sensitive or that you need to toughen up. It means you feel things fully. And with the right tools, you can learn to navigate feedback while protecting your peace. One of the most important skills for handling criticism is learning to distinguish between genuine feedback that can help you grow and projection or attacks that say more about the person than they actually say about you. Constructive feedback typically focuses on specific behaviors or actions, not your character, comes from a place of care or genuine desire to help, includes suggestions for improvement or alternative approaches, is delivered with respect for your humanity and dignity, acknowledges your efforts even while pointing out areas for growth. Examples of constructive feedback. I noticed the report had some formatting inconsistencies. Next time, could you double check your headers before submitting? I felt hurt when you canceled our plans last minute. In the future, could you give me more notice when something comes up? Projection and attacks typically make sweeping statements about your character or worth, come from someone's own unresolved issues or emotional state, include harsh language, insults, or personal attacks, lack specific actionable suggestions for improvement, feel disproportionately intense compared to the actual issue. Examples of projection attacks. You're always so disorganized and careless. You're just like everyone else, selfish and unreliable. You never think about anyone but yourself. Learning to recognize the difference helps you respond appropriately. Staying open to genuine feedback while protecting yourself from others' emotional projections or attacks. When criticism hits and you feel that familiar spiral starting, Here are some immediate tools to help you stabilize. The stop technique. Stop what you're doing and take a deep breath. Take note of what you're feeling in your body. Observe the criticism objectively, what was actually said, okay? Pause before responding and making any decisions about the feedback. Grounding in the moment. Feel your feet on the floor and your body in the chair. Take 5 deep breaths and making your exhale longer than your inhale. Name 3 things you can see, 2 things you can hear, and 1 thing you can smell. Remind yourself, I am safe right now. This feedback does not determine my worth. The 24-hour rule. Don't make any decisions about the validity of criticism or what action to take for at least 24 hours. When you're emotionally flooded, your perspective is skewed. You can't assess feedback accurately. Emotional validation. Say to yourself, it makes sense that I'm upset. Criticism is hard to hear. I'm allowed to feel hurt, and this feeling will pass. Reality anchor statements. One person's opinion doesn't define my worth. I am more than this one mistake or area for growth. I can learn from feedback without being destroyed or allowing it to destroy me. My worth is not up for debate now. My worth is not up for debate. Building resilience to criticism isn't about becoming hard or closed off. It's about developing emotional stability that allows you to stay open to growth while protecting your core sense of self. Strengthen your inner foundation. Develop a strong sense of your values, strengths, and your worth that isn't dependent on external validation. Practice daily affirmations that reinforce your value beyond your performance. Cultivate relationships with people who see and... Hello. My battery died while I was shooting that video, and so here we are, and I'm just going to continue finishing the video right now. But let me just take this opportunity to say thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed or are enjoying this emotional sovereignty series that was created for you. All right, let's finish up this video. Cultivate relationships with people who see and appreciate your authentic self. Reframe your relationship with feedback. View criticism as information, not truth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this, even if you don't agree with how it was delivered? Remember that someone's ability to see your worth isn't a measure of your actual worth. Develop emotional regulations. Practice mindfulness to observe your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Learn to self-soothe when criticism triggers your nervous system. Build tolerance for discomfort without immediately needing to fix or avoid it. Create a criticism filter. Consider the source. Does this person know you well? Do they have your best interests at heart? Look for patterns. If multiple trusted people give similar feedback, it might be worth exploring. Separate the message from the delivery. Sometimes valuable insights come wrapped in poor communication. Build your support network. Surround yourself with people who can offer balanced perspectives when you're struggling with feedback. Have trusted friends who can help you process criticism without either dismissing it entirely or taking it too seriously. When someone gives you criticism, how you respond in the moment can either escalate it in the moment or help you maintain your dignity while gathering useful information. If the feedback feels constructive, thank you for letting me know. I'll think about what you've shared. I appreciate you taking the time to give me feedback. Let me process this and get back to you. I can see how that would be frustrating. Help me understand what would work better next time. If the feedback feels harsh or unfair, I'm hearing that you're frustrated. I need some time to process this before I can respond thoughtfully. I want to understand your perspective. Can we revisit this when we're both calmer? I appreciate you sharing your concerns. I'll need to think about this. If you're being attacked or experience projection, I can see you're upset. I'm not available to be spoken to this way. We clearly see differently. I'm going to step away from this conversation. I'm not going to engage with personal attacks. If you want to discuss the actual issue, we can do that respectfully. What not to do in the moment. Don't defend, justify, or explain excessively. Don't counterattack or criticize them back. Don't apologize for things that aren't your fault. Don't promise to change before you've had time to evaluate the feedback. After receiving criticism, especially difficult feedback, it's important to process it in a way that allows you growth while protecting your emotional well-being. The 48-hour processing protocol. Feel your feelings. Don't try to analyze or fix anything. Just allow yourself to be upset if you need to be. On day 2, start to look at the feedback more objectively. What parts might have validity? What parts feel like projection? Questions for evaluation. Is there a grain of truth here that I can learn from? How much of this feedback is about me versus about them? What patterns do I notice in the feedback I receive? Does this align with feedback I've received from other trusted sources? Extracting value from difficult feedback. Even poorly delivered criticism can sometimes contain useful information. Here's what to look for. Specific behaviors you could adjust, patterns you weren't aware of, impact you didn't realize you were having, areas where you might want to grow. Protecting your peace. Limit how much time you spend analyzing the criticism. Talk it through with a trusted friend who can offer perspective. Practice self-compassion for any mistakes you might have made. And remember that growth doesn't require self-attack. Take action or not. If the feedback is valid and constructive, make a plan for growth. If it's projection or unfair, acknowledge it as information about them, not you. And if it's somewhere in between, extract what's useful and leave the rest. And speaking of building emotional resilience while staying open-hearted, I want to offer you something that can support you daily in this journey. It's my free self-care daily checklist with healing affirmations. It includes specific affirmations for maintaining your center when criticism feels overwhelming, and gentle reminders that your worth isn't determined by others' opinions. You can grab that in the description below. One of the biggest fears sensitive people have about developing criticism resilience is that they'll become hard, closed off, or unable to receive feedback. But true resilience actually allows you to stay more open because you're not constantly defending against potential hurt. Healthy boundaries with feedback. You can listen to criticism without automatically accepting it as truth. You can acknowledge someone's perspective without agreeing with their assessment. You can learn from feedback without being devastated by it. You can accept someone's intention to help while rejecting their delivery method. Maintaining your sensitive gifts. Your empathy and emotional intelligence are strengths, not weaknesses. Learning to filter criticism protects these gifts rather than diminishing them. You can care about others' feelings while not being responsible for them. Your sensitivity helps you give feedback more kindly to others. The balance of growth and self-protection. True emotional sovereignty means being able to receive information about your impact and behavior while maintaining a stable sense of your worth. You can grow and change without your entire identity being up for debate with every piece of feedback. And by the way, I'm Gwen Jones, and I offer heart-centered content that guides you from reactive patterns to intentionally designing a life that's aligned with your purpose through mindful wellness practices. With my psychology background, I understand how criticism can feel like it's attacking your very core when you're a sensitive person. And I'm here to help you develop resilience while maintaining your beautiful open heart. Learning to handle criticism without falling apart isn't about becoming invulnerable or developing thick skin. It's about building enough inner stability that you can receive feedback as information rather than as an indictment of your worth. Your sensitivity is not a weakness that needs to be fixed, it's a strength that needs to be protected and honored. When you learn to filter criticism through wisdom rather than fear, you can stay open to growth while maintaining your peace. Remember, not all criticism is accurate, helpful, or worth internalizing. Some feedback says more about the person giving it than about you. Your job is not to be perfect or beyond critique. It's to be discerning about which voices you allow to influence your sense of self. You can receive feedback without accepting abuse, and you can learn from mistakes without hating yourself. You can grow and change without your entire identity being up for a negotiation with every person who has an opinion about you. The goal is not to become someone who doesn't feel criticism deeply, it's to become someone who can feel it deeply and still know their worth. Your emotional depth is a gift, and with the right tools, it can coexist beautifully with emotional resilience. Don't forget to grab that daily self-care checklist below for ongoing support with maintaining your center when criticism feels overwhelming. And make sure you subscribe because next week we're exploring when your family takes everything personally too. Perfect for those navigating family dynamics where everyone seems to be triggered by each other. Remember, your worth is not up for debate, no matter what anyone else says. Until next time, keep flowing in serenity.